What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 13 and it's the season finale today. We're on the back of the absolutely massive East Midlands derby victory over Leicester City with 3 games to go and just 1 win in our last 5 games. Forest are not out of the woods yet, but we have now gone 4 points clear of Brendan Rodgers' side with those 3 games to go, and heading into the first game of today's episode here against Manchester City. I saw this, Dean Henderson, his loan deal is about to expire as we know, and Henderson, to be fair, you know, he's obviously conceded more goals than any other goalkeeper in the division this year, but considering the defence he's got in front of him, I don't think you can blame him. But 6 clean sheets in 33. And to be fair, he's bailed me out in numerous games. He was big in that Leicester game, to be fair, in the early stages. He also was the man of the match in that Spurs game. We picked up our first away day victory this season. He almost single-handedly got us a point in that game away at Arsenal. He looked, to be fair, he's in the top 5 for clean sheets this year. So for Henderson, yes, you could say no one's conceded more goals than him this season. But to be fair, the defence doesn't help him out much. And I think he's been alright. So for next season, I think I might try and bring him back from Manchester United and sign him on a permanent deal. So here we go. It's the final 3 games of the season, and this is the league table. We are currently in 15th place, but really the positions right now mean absolutely nothing. It's all about the points. 4 points separating us and Leicester in 18th place. 3 clear of Bournemouth in 17th as well. And as we know, on the back of that win against Leicester there, just our first win in 5 attempts, we knew heading to the Etihad Stadium with Fulham and Leeds, our other final 2 games, win 2 of our final 3, we guarantee safety. Heading into the game at Man City though, not many gave us a chance. 20 minutes into the game and it was Manchester City having the opening chance. A shot from range almost catching Dean out, but a great save there from our loanee kept it at 0-0. And to be fair, in the opening 20 minutes we'd been okay. Hadn't seen that many chances conceded to Man City, and Henderson had made a couple of big saves. First from range and then denying Rodri from close range. 25 minutes in and it was still 0-0. So we're doing alright in the first half an hour, still deadlocked. City hadn't opened the scoring yet, and it was still 0-0. 10 minutes to go before the break, hadn't had a chance, but we did here, because Rodri found some space down the left, and after he played a 1-2 with Lewis O'Brien, he was in behind the youngster, down the left-hand side. Lewis to beat, and he does! And finds Johnson! And don't adjust your screens! Brennan Johnson makes it Manchester City 0, Nottingham Forest 1. The Etihad stunned silent under the portion of 3,000 Forest fans up the other end in the away section. Brennan Johnson gives Nottingham Forest the lead with his 14th of the season. Great run by Rodri, Brennan with the opener, and at half time at the Etihad, that man had been kept quiet and City were down by a goal. The question was, could we hold on? Well, second half begins and we're up by 1. Worrell holds off Haaland and plays it back to Scott McKenna. Out wide finds Niakate and he'll offload to Rodri Brown. Into Lewis O'Brien, and once again they link up courtesy with a via route from Taiwo. Rodri down the left, rolls it across, and it's 2! It's 2! Brennan Johnson makes it 2-0! Nottingham Forest! It's the same combination. Rodri to Brennan, and Forest lead 2-0. And after the goal I thought, right, everyone behind the ball, just like we did against Spurs in North London, where we saw out the 3 points and our first away day of victory. Everyone behind the ball. I brought on Ryan Yates, I brought on Sergio Aurier. Both had DMs coming on for Freuler and Lingard, and I shut up shop. Everyone behind the ball with Taiwo and Brennan, the outlet men. We still led by 2, and Dean Henderson denied Erling Haaland with 13 minutes on the clock as City remain frustrated and scoreless. Red shirts not giving the Sky Blues a sniff of the goal, and as we still led by 2, Dean Henderson with another big save on Julian Alvarez. Eric Ten Hag, name your prize, because once again he's pulled off a masterclass in a 2-0 win. goes in. And it's so funny, man, because I was playing this game last night. It was like, I don't know, 9:30 in the evening. I'm not ashamed to admit I played all the final games, all the way through up until 11 p.m. And I. After that win there, as soon as the referee blew the final whistle, I literally went, yes, get in! And one of my housemates was like walking past my bedroom door, and I would not have been surprised had he heard me celebrate that victory there, because it was massive, absolutely massive. Nobody gave us a chance. Everyone wrote us off, but Jesse Lingard took one for the team, breaking his toe in the 2-0 victory. And as you'll see post-game, Henderson comes to me, hey Gaffer, not sure what's going to happen now, but I wanted to say I've really enjoyed my loan spell at the club. I hope we can make it a permanent deal. And now that Dean says he wants to come back, because he knows his saves in that game has all but confirmed survival now, because with 2 games to go, Bournemouth lost their game on the Sunday, which means the gap remains at 6, and all we need is 1 point from our final 2 games to guarantee Premier League survival. Dean wants to come back, we want him back. Big clean sheet is 7th of the season in a famous 2-0 win at the Etihad has all but confirmed Nottingham Forest will be staying in the Premier League. And I have to say, I didn't realise this as well, but heading into the penultimate game of the season and our final on the City ground here at home to Jesse Marsh's Leeds United in Nottingham. Heading into the game here, as you would have seen, first chance falling into Leeds, great save by Henderson, still 0-0, and 69 minutes in, once again, Erik ten Hag, name your price. Dean Henderson with another great save, keeps it at 0-0 with 2 minutes on the clock here, a chance to win it. Rodri Brown, puts it into the side netting. But it wouldn't matter that we couldn't find a winner, because the goalless draw confirms it. Back-to-back clean sheets, 4 points from 6, and mathematically it is over. Nottingham Forest survive, and what I didn't actually realise is that the reason I did that game quite subdued in my commentary and why I passed the ball around for the majority of the game as well, I'm not going to lie, I just wanted to point, is because on the final day, Leicester and Bournemouth, who are both below us in the table, actually play each other. So because of that win against Man City, I didn't realise this, but that win against Man City actually guaranteed it, and that meant that we had survived with 2 games to go. And we didn't actually need the point with 2 games to go, because obviously Leicester and Bournemouth played each other and both teams couldn't win on the final day. So I didn't realise this, but for our final 3 games, we actually only needed to win 1 of them. We didn't need 2, we just needed the 1. I didn't realise that. But final day, as you can see, Spurs already crowned champions under Antonio Conte. Liverpool 2 points clear of Chelsea in the race of 4th. But in the bottom half of the table, as you can see, final game to go. It's a straight shootout. Leicester versus Bournemouth. And they're on the final day as well. The goal difference was 4, which meant that Bournemouth needed to win by 2, or I think actually 3 or more goals to leapfrog the Foxes and survive. If Rodgers' side could avoid defeat or lose by no more than, again, I think 2 goals, then they would stay in the Premier League in that straight shootout there. But we were done. We had survived. We had pulled it off, courtesy of that famous win at the Etihad and back-to-back wins against our rivals and Manchester City away. Talk about pulling out of the bag when it mattered most. We lost the final day to Fulham. Not that it mattered. They're going down to the Championship anyway, and we were already safe. Harry Wilson scored the only goal of the game. You would have seen my lineup, though, a really weak side because we'd already done it, but I saw this come full time here. Does the season feel like it's been a bit of a letdown? We ended up too near the relegation places for comfort. Well, I said in my post-match interview, we all want the same thing for this club's success, but it's a long-term plan. It's an RTG. It's the hardest FIFA I've ever played. And I said to the board at the start of the season, if you remember, whilst our objectives were to finish mid-table, 16th or 17th will do me fine. In the end, that's where we finished. Spurs champions. Liverpool do indeed complete the top 4, the Manchester sides, Chelsea, Arsenal and Newcastle, the European teams. But the bottom 3 were indeed Southampton, Fulham and Bournemouth, who drew with Leicester on the final day, which means Leicester survive and Bournemouth go down alongside Fulham and the Saints as well. 16th place finish. joint worst defensive record with 69 goals getting conceded. But, to be fair, joint 10th best scorers this season with 49. No one in the bottom 10 scored more goals than us. That's the positive. Heung-min Son won the Golden Boot with 25 goals this season. Erling Haaland, to be fair, quite disappointing. Martin Odegaard and Brennan Johnson were level for assists this year with 11 each. Rodri Brown at 10 though, you'd love to see that in third. And Lloris and De Gea got the Golden Glove. Should go to De Gea because he played fewer games. But Henderson, to be fair, after 2 clean sheets in our final 3 games, finished third in terms of clean sheets this year. I'm bringing him back next year, even if I've got to spend every single penny on him. He was massive this year and single-handedly won me big points when it mattered most. Liverpool were Carabao Cup winners this year in the EFL Cup. We were, of course, knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and the winners in the end were, how about this? Crystal Palace beat Chelsea in a 7-goal thriller, 4-3 in an all-London affair at Wembley to win the FA Cup. And I believe that will put them into the Europa League for next year. The Europa Conference League was won by West Ham. So they're going into the Europa League as well. And the Europa League this year, I was thinking, an English team? Maybe? Well, Arsenal got to the semis, but no, it was Lazio beating Inter in an all-Italian final. And for the first Champions League of the save, well, the English teams did well in Europe, and as you'll see, that trend continued in the Champions League as well, because it was an all-English final after Man City took on Liverpool and captured their first ever Champions League, winning it by 1-0. So that is that then. Whilst technically we failed both our objectives this season, failing to reach the last 16 in the FA Cup and finishing just a few points above the drop, we got to that magic points total of 40. Everyone talks about it. You get to 40 points and you will survive. That ended up being the case once again. We remain in the Premier League for Season 2, but goodness, this was without a shadow of a doubt the hardest career mode season I've had. Possibly ever. I mean, honestly, man, absolutely ridiculous. Rodri grew 5 ratings this year, by the way, astounding out to 84. His pace is gradually increasing. His sprint speed very close to 80, but I need to get the acceleration up. 3 goals and 11 assists in 25 games for the next Gareth Bale. I've got him on the attacking wing-back development plan right now, and the reason why is because I do see him further forward in the future. For now, yes, left wing back. That's where we get the best out of Rodri Brown, and he's not good enough on the offensive end to be, an attacking mid, for example. Whereas where he could play in the future, I definitely think in the future he could be phased into the middle as an attacking mid. Bale, of course, spent a bit of time there, especially under AVB in his Spurs days, but for now, he remains left wing back. Dave Bell, of course, came out of the academy. Only did 6 games this season, but did, of course, start that big win where, of course, got the clean sheet against Aston Villa. Potential to be special, so I'll keep on giving him minutes next season. If not, then I'll try and loan him out. As I run you through the team here, Mangala, I thought he was quite underrated this year. Only did 2 goals and 2 assists, but quite a few injuries for Mangala, but still did pretty well, growing 3 ratings as well. Jesse Lingard, though, 9 goals and 8 assists in 35. Big decision to extend his contract, but the right one. However, my player of the season, no doubt about it, despite Henderson's brilliant clean sheets, despite Rodri's fantastic debut year, 15 goals in 36 games in the Premier League for Brennan Johnson, and he also had the joint most amount of assists in the Premier League as well. I said right at the start of the campaign, keep your eyes on Brennan Johnson. He'll be our main man this year, and he was as well. There'll be some big bids for him in the summer, I'm sure of it, but the academy grad, I've got to keep him here. He and Taiwo this year are a fantastic strike partnership. So Jack Colback is going to go to Ashton Gate on a pre-contract. I like that for the realism there. And also as well, I'm going to release a couple of players as well. Steve Cook, who barely played this season, now 32 years old. I've released him. And also Harry Arter as well. Both have been released. Both in their early to mid-30s. Both still have a year left on their deals. I barely played either of them this season, and what I don't want to do is go into the new season and see they'll say they're gonna retire at the end of next season, because now we will have to keep them. We won't be able to sell or release them, and we'll still be paying their wages. So yeah, Cook and Arter have both been released. And I was going to extend the contract to Sergio Aurier as well. You know, the Ivorian, the holding mid, he did okay for us this year. You know, he scored away at St James's Park in our 4-2 victory. He changed his position to holding mid and did all right, to be fair. He was the sort of guy I brought on in late game situations to shut up shop as a defence-minded player. But he wanted a wage increase. And I was like, Serge, I'm asking you to take a wage cut if you're not prepared to do that, now 30 years old, I'm going to let you go. Yep, Serge came in on a 1-year deal, helped us survive, but he wanted 41 grand a week. He's not a regular starter. We're prioritising youth. He's 30 years old now. Yep, thanks for your service in year 1, Serge, but that'll be a one and done season for Serge Aurier. Helps Forest survive, and now he's off elsewhere. Good player, 78 rated, 30 years old though now, and that's the key. He's just a bit too old now as we're prioritising the youngsters, and I want to completely rebuild our team next year. Yeah, no doubt about it. I've hired new global transfer network scouts. We had 9 mil remaining in our budget, so I brought in a 5-star scout and 3 4-stars as well. We've expanded our global transfer network scouting system because in the summer transfer window, with Nottingham Forest surviving by the skin of their teeth, just reaching the magic 40-point mark, we're still a 4-star team. We've still got a few aging players who want to shift on, and we're still a team with very little quality. For season 2, we'll stay in the Premier League, and this Nottingham Forest team is going to need a major rebuild. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching the season finale. If you've enjoyed it, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode, the beginning of a brand new season, season 2 at the City Ground, remaining in the Premier League as we rebuild Nottingham Forest very soon.